Okay, so I just want to do a follow-up video talking about my thoughts on Pride 2025. So if you missed my video the other day, I talked about my concerns over corporations like pink capitalism, rainbow capitalism, that kind of stuff, pulling out of Pride events in 2025 and how that would affect some of the events, parades, things going on in the month of June. And my biggest concern were the more rural areas where they just don't have a very large queer community, a large gay community, and they need that kind of support. And these large corporations actually did have an impact in those areas. Well, I'm happy to say that I was wrong. It seems like a lot of those communities were able to pull together and actually follow through with their Pride events. Matter of fact, there's been very few Pride events canceled this year, which I'm happy to see. Like, I'm keeping an eye on places around the country, places here on the East Coast where I am, to see if there's anything that is just getting outright canceled. And most stuff has either been scaled back a little bit or just continuing as expected. So in a lot of ways, I feel like it's actually been very empowering to be a part of the queer community while all this is happening, because now we are taking the power back into our hands. We are no longer beholden to all of these large corporations. What I'm seeing in my area, this is anecdotal, is that there's a lot of people pitching in and just helping out where they can to make these events happen, whether it be volunteer work or actually donating time and money to organizations. This is really good because now we are no longer playing to whatever these corporations expected from us. So there's a lot of there's a grassroots feel to a lot of these events this year that we just haven't had in a very long time. And for me, I think that's actually a good thing. Putting queer people back in control of their own Pride events means that we can be more open and accepting of other people within our community that some of these large corporations are not keen on. It's really hard to get stuff done when these corporations are donating money and they're like, yes, we want to accept you, but we don't want XYZ at these functions. We don't have to deal with that when it's our community actually coming through and putting money and time into that. So I think that's very empowering and that's a good thing. Now, it does suck that some rural areas are suffering a bit and they're having to scale back on their events, but ultimately I think it will help the whole community if we're not beholden to these corporations. A good example is places like Target, where they used to have a lot of their Pride merch up in the front of the store, and they really did celebrate for our community. But we all knew this was just because they were trying to make money off of our holiday, just like any other holiday with like Valentine's Day, Christmas, whatever it is. And as soon as that other shoe came down and they felt pressure from the bigots and the bullies, they immediately pulled back and said, hey, we're not allies anymore. And that is the problem with those companies supporting Pride. So my thoughts as of the middle of the month of June is that I'm seeing events go through as planned, and a lot of them now have control, or the control is in the hands of the queer community, and I think that's ultimately good. But let me know what you think about this in the comments down below, and whether or not your community has had to cancel or scale back any Pride events.